Hi guys, Martin and Lewis here on the grid. Actually, Lembo and Fernandes. But last week you were Lewis. There was no Martin because I was at a baseball game and you hosted the show. So how did that go? Did you manage to hang in there?
I did. It was a lot shorter, like 3 or 4 minutes.
Really? Yeah.
So I guess spoke from the cuff. But this is the first show together. We're in our new digs. So
that show must have been great for you because you were able to talk without being interrupted. You had the entire.
It was very pleasant.
Amazing.
It felt really good.
It felt really good?
It felt really good.
Well, where have we been the last 2 weeks, John?
A lot of spring training,
games.
You're with the Orioles, I'm with the Pirates, yep.
Right. So people have seen our bylines in the paper, but not necessarily attached to solely prep stuff.
Right, exactly.
Right. So you may have touched on some of it, but let's get right to it. Let's sum up some of the things that have happened the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Let's start off with basketball, boys basketball in Lakewood Ranch. The team Lakewood Ranch made it to the semifinals of 8A, losing the Tampa Sickles 54-49. You saw them play quite a bit.
Yeah.
Sam Hester, all-time leading scorer, went down with an injury early on, couldn't overcome that. Just talk about the team this year.
Well, obviously a great year. Interesting that Sickles then beat Lincoln the next day to win the state title. Dennis Fafizoli, who covered the Final Four for us, said, it was interesting because Sickles plays a slow it down kind of game, and it must have worked because they slowed down two really fast offenses in Lakewood Ranch and Lincoln. But obviously losing Sam Hester, didn't help your all-time leading scorer, and it kind of put a crimp in things. And I'm surprised. 49 points for that team is pretty low. And this is a team that averaged around 70 a game. So, but obviously a great year for Lakewood Ranch. Fell short of their goal. Losing a lot of guys, a lot of seniors on this team, but definitely a team that until someone comes and wins it, this is the standard all other Lakewood Ranch boys basketball teams will be measured against.
You mentioned 49 points. When you shoot 39% from the field the entire game, I'd like to see if that was just adjusting to the conditions. We've both been to the Lakeland Center.
Right.
There's no backdrop,
right.
So it takes a while to get used to shooting at that basket.
Yeah, that's always been kind of an issue for a lot of teams, just getting used to the environment. But again, I think I'm curious if they would have had Sam Hester, how they would have done.
Right.
Not having seen the game myself, just like when you lose a guy like that, your all-time leading scorer, one of your captains. It's a blow, and it makes you wonder what would have happened if they would have had him for all 4 quarters.
Right. Staying on Lakewood Ranch, kind of better news. You saw her play. I saw her play one time. Senator LaDacia Williams named the Florida Daily Farmers Class 8A Player of the Year. She's headed to South Carolina, up for Miss Basketball next week. She was dominating. You saw her play a lot more than I did, but what stood out about her game?
Well, she had 4. I saw her play all 4 years.
Right.
She was very good on the inside. Had a nice touch, and obviously, the last couple of years she had some injuries she had to overcome, which she did. But a great career for LaDacia. I don't think it's a coincidence that her 4 years here were 4 of the best years Lakewood Ranch's girls basketball teams ever had. They went to a state championship game last year. Fell short this season, but they had some injuries too. Losing Tay Green really hurt. But no, a great career for LaDacia. She's, as you mentioned, going to South Carolina, one of the most hotly coveted recruits in the nation before choosing South Carolina. So we'll see what she does in college.
Yeah. Good deal for her, really.
Yeah.
And a local player makes it out and goes to a prestigious school like.
They were 6th in the nation last year before they got upset by Syracuse, I believe, in the national tournament. So going to a great program.
Staying on girls basketball, Braden Christian, first-year coach Janelle Hochstetler.
Second-year coach.
Yes. Third in voting for the Class 2A Coach of the Year. Panthers reached the Final Four.
Right.
Great year by them and her.
Yeah, and obviously she's taken Sarasota Christian to the Final Four as well, so she knows what she's doing with those basketball programs. And when I did the preview story on the Final Four, it was funny. A lot of the girls said that she kind of felt more comfortable with them this year because last year she was new, didn't want to, but this year she was more comfortable. And all the girls told me she stresses defense. That's her big thing, and defense will get you pretty far in basketball, girls basketball too. And 28-2. Unfortunately, their second loss came in the state Final Four to a very good Carrollwood Day team. But they're young. I think the entire starting 5, maybe less, except for one girl, returns next year. So, some good things in the future for BCS's girls basketball team.
I know talent varies from team to team, but when you got a team that's 28-2, you really other coaches really got to look at the way they play the game.
Right.
And I would think try to copy. You mentioned great defense. Defense is just effort on the high school level or at any level of basketball. So you mimic what this team does, and maybe it will pay off to success. Ultimately, it comes down to talent, though, when these teams are.
Yeah, it comes down to talent. It comes down to the district you're in. There's so many variables in high school sports because it's hard to measure one team against the other because you do have different sizes of schools, different district schedules, non-district schedules. So it's really tough to look at a team and say, we're going to do it that way because maybe that way works against their opponents. But but it might not work well against your opponents.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is when you play defense, defense is effort.
Right,
effort,
exactly.
Any team can put down effort. Putting a ball in the hole with a guy in your face.
Right.
When you played basketball, the guy was always in your face, I would sure, right?
Yeah, but I was kind of in his stomach because I'm not very tall. But yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, defense to me, it's the old cliche. Coaches always say it takes no talent to work hard.
Right, exactly.
So right, yeah.
And you combine a great talent with working hard. When you get that combination, it can be deadly on a basketball court.
And we saw that with the two basketball teams, Lakewood Ranch boys and BCS girls. I mean, a lot of talent. They worked hard. Both had great seasons.
Let's get on your favorite sport, wrestling. State wrestling, 47 area wrestlers win. Great job by Manatee. You were there.
Right.
What do you remember both of
Well, we had 19 place winners. 9 guys make the finals. Had one winner, Charles Small, 163A for Manatee. One of the best years for wrestling I've seen, especially for Manatee County. They had 6 guys make the finals. Southeast, so Darian Grant make it. Their first finalist in 23 years. 2 for Braden River, Chance Charbonneau and Brendan Bankston. Their first 2 ever. Hunter Reed making it for the second time for Lakewood Ranch. So great stuff for them. And Sarasota had Michael Bush, Dalton Mills for Charlotte, Kyle Johnson for Venice. So a great also Marshall Craig for Manatee, can't forget him. So yeah, a great weekend for local wrestling.
I'm going to throw this at you. This was unrehearsed question. You know, there's a lot of
I like it.
There's a lot of sports that high school teams in this area aren't good at.
Right.
But when it comes to wrestling, a lot of teams are. Yet when you think of wrestling, it's such a mano-a-mano, individualistic, hard-working sport. You know, there's a lot of maybe guys out there who don't want to put forth the effort, yet we have good teams in the area. Why is that, you think?
Why do we have good teams in the area?
Why in wrestling specifically, when it's such an individualistic sport?
Well, I think it kind of goes in cycles. I mean, last year, you know, there weren't a lot of finalists. There were some finalists, but for example, Manatee High School had no finalists last year. They had 2 this year. So I think it kind of goes in cycles. This is a really great group of local wrestlers. I think wrestling, to me, to kind of answer your question, I think it's something where you have to be all in it. If you're just like 80% committed to wrestling, you're not going to be very good. And I think we have some really good coaches here. We have some good programs, and I think they kind of face each other a lot too. That helps. You know, so it kind of steel sharpens steel, the old cliche. But yeah, it's been a really great year for area wrestling. I mean, 47 finalists, 19 place winners, 9 finalists. The best year I've seen since I've been down here in terms of everybody having guys.
You mentioned guys going 80%. In the wrestling dungeon where they got to prepare, if you don't have a guy who's keeping up with the rest of the guys, he's not going to be there long. And that's why you've got to have a leader in wrestling who really puts forth the effort. Other guys follow.
Either that or someone that's taking him aside and say, hey, you're not working hard enough. Not so much a coach, but another wrestler. I think when it comes from a peer, I think criticism, really, when it comes from a peer, it's a lot more effective. Because you look at a coach is supposed to yell at me. It's like a parent. They're supposed to yell at me. But it's one of my buddies taking me aside and saying my effort stinks. I better look in the mirror.
So when Scott says that about you, it really doesn't make much effect. It takes me to tell you that your efforts.
When you say my leads are crap, I'm like, they really are.
The leads are weak.
Let's
go to Glengarry.
I like that.
Yeah. Very quickly, you saw him play Alex Turner, Class 2A Player of the Year.
Second straight year.
Yeah. Unbelievable. You didn't see the other competition, but when you saw him play, could you imagine anybody being better than him on the 2A level?
Well, that's hard to say
without
the whole state, but definitely worthy. I think 43 goals this year, 91 the last 2 years. He's going to Mercer University, played Division I, and he's a great kid. Great kid to talk to. Yes. Very smart kid. He was looking at Notre Dame and Wake Forest. You got to have some brains to go to those schools. So great kid, great career for Alex, and we're putting together the all-area soccer team, and I'm sure he's going to find his way on somehow.
Right.
So,
and very quickly, even though we haven't reported it, we're about 95% sure because he has been spotted on the campus that Sarasota High quarterback Brian Gagg has transferred to Braden River. I talked to his dad quite a bit. He was deciding between Braden River and Manatee, made the decision. He hasn't gotten back to me. I hope, Mike Gagg, if you're watching this, that you do call me back. We'd like to get something in the paper. But a big get for Braden River and a bad loss for Sarasota High.
If it's true,
Yes.
Yeah, if you're correct, yes.
Right. I'm pretty sure I'm correct.
Okay.
And Sarasota High has also lost a few coaches.
Right.
So Mr. Riles over there, has to stem the tide of departures over there. I'm sure we'll have something in the paper going forward about that.
Definitely.
Yeah. John, before we go, great new digs.
Yeah.
Look at this. We see the non-existent skyline of Sarasota here. A bunch of trees. Not too bad here.
I like it. I like it.
So if going forward, this is where we'll be having our show.
Yep.
So for Lembo, for Fernandez, join us next week on The Grid. We'll see you.